New York City, the Big Apple, Gotham, the city that never sleeps, the Empire City, your city.
I live over on 13th Street, a little bit east of Union Square.
I live in Murray Hill.
Hamilton Heights, up around City College.
I live on the Lower East Side.
You work here.
I go to New York University and I work at a think tank.
I'm currently teaching LSATs and I'm going to law school.
Transparency, technology, web stuff.
I work on Park Avenue and 27th.
And there are a million reasons to love it here.
My favorite place in Manhattan is probably Battery Park. It's just beautiful down there.
There's always something open. There are tons of things to do.
The diversity of the people, the culture, the passion they have for living here.
I think it's the most beautiful place in the world.
You also vote here. But who do you vote for? Theoretically, you're represented by more than 15 elected officials. 15. Two of the most important are your state senator and assembly person. So who are they?
Unfortunately, I do not know who my state senator is.
I don't know the name of my state senator or assemblyman. I don't have any idea.
Whoa. Wait. My assembly person is Assemblyman,
I don't pay attention to the assembly.
You probably can't keep track of their names. And you certainly can't keep track of what they're up to. And that's the problem. Because about 3 hours upstate, there's a city that always sleeps. A little town called Albany, the center of state government, the part-time home to dozens of elected officials making decisions that drastically affect your everyday life. Your taxes, your subway fare, who you can marry, funding for senior centers, after-school programs, parks and bridges and roads. Albany controls the purse strings. It's a place where democracy is broken, where justice is largely disregarded, and it's far worse than you'd ever think. Because you would think that the state government would function like a representative democracy, that each lawmaker would look out for his or her constituents, that there would be some policy debate, that votes would be decided as they're cast. Not so in Albany. In Albany, it all comes down to 3 men in a room. The fate of nearly 20 million people lies with 3 men, the Speaker of the Assembly, the President of the Senate, and the Governor. Everyone else is virtually powerless. Even the discussion of bills is done in secret. The broken system is compounded by the fact that running the state is more of a hobby for lawmakers than a full-time job. Legislators are considered part-time employees, meaning they can have outside income that doesn't necessarily get made public. And Albany is overrun with corrupt individuals on both sides of the aisle. Take our favorite, Pedro Espada Jr., who allegedly lives in a $700,000 mansion outside of his district, who won't address the questions about his residency, who stands accused of funneling millions of dollars to himself and his family through personal nonprofits, who allegedly used your money for lavish Vegas vacations, expensive dinners, and his own re-election campaign, who racked up over $60,000 in fines for various campaign finance shenanigans, and who, in some cases, didn't disclose his campaign finance reports at all. But Espada's real claim to fame started with $2 million in member items he secured for Bronx groups connected to him. The state said no, but no wasn't good enough for Pedro, so he orchestrated a power grab, known as the Senate coup of 2009. Espada and his cohort Hiram Montserrat sold out their Democratic colleagues and voted with the Republicans to make Dean Skelos the new Senate Majority Leader, meaning the Republicans ruled the state Senate again, and Malcolm Smith was out as leader. Espada was elected President pro tempore of the Senate, so if something happened to the governor, Espada would step in. The coup gridlocked the Senate for 6 long weeks, meaning nothing was accomplished in Albany. In the end, Montserrat was welcomed back into the caucus. And with the chamber tied at 31-31, Pedro Espada claimed Senate superpowers, arguing he should have not 1 but 2 votes to break the Senate deadlock. Pedro isn't the only Senate disgrace. There's also his coup partner, Senator Hiram Montserrat. His constituents were left without representation for an entire month when he was booted from the state Senate in February 2010 for a misdemeanor assault. He allegedly slashed his girlfriend's face with a broken glass and dragged her out of his apartment by her hair before taking her to a hospital out of his district where he wouldn't be recognized. Maybe somewhere else that would end your political career, but not here in New York. And after a judge refused to reverse his expulsion, Montserrat ran in a special election to replace himself, hijacking the slogan and logo of Obama for America. Voters had enough, and with the help of countless canvassers, protesters, and phone bankers, and many Manhattan Young Democrats, Montserrat was finally ousted for good. Espada and Montserrat are just the beginning. Meet Assemblyman Brian McLaughlin. Assemblywoman Diane Gordon, Senator Joe Bruno, Senator Efrain Gonzalez. This is just some of the lunacy going on in Albany. Let's not forget 2 consecutive governors were embattled in ethics scandals. The dysfunction in Albany is driving the state into the ground. Since 1975, the state legislature has blown its budget deadline all but 6 times. This year, we face a projected shortfall of $8.2 billion. That translates into slashed healthcare and education funding, thousands of layoffs, reduced bus service and subway line cuts, shelter and senior center closings, all right here in the city. But it's not all bad. Albany is also full of earnest, hardworking individuals who deserve our support. And at the Manhattan Young Democrats, we're committed to seeing more of them elected and to curing the systemic corruption that plagues the state government, to make sure the issues young New Yorkers care about are addressed.
The biggest problem in New York State is inequality.
The vitality of New York in the future rests on its transportation system.
The state is broke and can't provide any services or help for anybody, including young people.
I know so many young and talented, brilliant people who simply aren't able to find employment.
I want to make a long-term commitment to the city for all it's given me in my 20s, and I can't do that because I'm not getting that commitment from Albany.
New York is your home. Help us take it back.